guys, this is Pam, and well, as usual, and I'm really happy and really excited just to make this new video for you. It's a new content that as always, like, I prepare for you just with all of my love, because I want you just to develop really healthy relationships. And I know that, of course, I'm not the only one who's doing this, but I want to be part of that, and to me that's fulfilling already. So well, and I wanted to make a different video today because, like, generally I know that I have like a white wall behind me, and it's like very boring like it. So today I want you just to feel like you're just chilling with a friend and, you know, talking about something that's going to be very meaningful. So well, I'm going to put the cell phone right here and talk about, okay, I think you see me well there. Okay, so talk about a little bit of what is it, and yeah, I'm barefoot. I hope you like my feet. Look, they're kind of matching with my blouse. Anyways, what are the things that I take into account at the moment that I realize that someone is actually reliable or not? And I don't want just to, you know, use the term if someone is a really good person or bad person, because I don't think I have the right of actually deciding whether someone is good or bad, because I'm not perfect. So that's why I prefer just to use the term if someone is reliable or not, okay? Just to clarify a little bit. So what is it that I take into account, especially now that I have grown for my past experiences, especially because in the past I made a lot of bad decisions, and that's why I had even abusive relationships. So well, one of the things, and for me the most important one, is what your gut is telling you, or the energy that the other person actually transmits to you. And many people may think that that's actually crazy, that makes no sense for me just talking about this, because maybe that's not real, but it is 100% it's real. Because if you feel that that person is not making you feel comfortable, it's because something's going on, you know. And even though that person, you know, is telling you nice things, if you feel kind of like a lot of anxiety before you have an encounter with that person, and you're feeling that, I don't know, sometimes the look on their faces doesn't match whatever they're saying, and even their body language, it's because maybe something's going on, and maybe there's a hidden agenda, and that's why you need to be very careful and always be kind of like alert or whatever is going on in there. So I don't know, the best advice that I give to people in that type of situations, it's like try to walk away from that person, especially when it is something about dates. Like when you're meeting someone new, I know sometimes it's difficult just to be single, because there's people who feel like so desperate about, oh my god, I would like to have a boyfriend, all this stuff. Like, do not, because, you know, being single is one of the best things that can happen to you, because you can start growing into yourself and working and focusing on projects. And when you feel that you're meeting this new person and your date make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, just listen to that, and, you know, try to take care of yourself by walking away from that person and just not engaging anymore with that, you know, with that person, you know. And I think that applies to friendship, that applies to, you know, relative, and that applies to everything, co-workers. And it's a little bit more difficult when it is about co-workers, because you have to deal with them every day. But the best thing to do is just not to have a lot of interaction with them, and try to minimize it as much as possible, and just to, you know, try to limit that, and not make them just to cross the line, and be very emotionally intelligent in order for you not to allow them to trigger you in any way. And other thing that I would like to point out a little bit of what has helped me so far to identify a unreliable person is their actions do not match their behavior. And that part is really important, because that's something so simple that many people do not pay attention. You know, today we have social media, and everyone wear their mask, where everyone portray themselves as their best self, and that's normal, you know. But that's also normal. When you start interacting with people, you have to pay attention, like really close attention, the consistency of their action, okay, and whatever they're saying, okay. So if you see that there is something that is not matching, like always pay attention and be careful, before opening up to someone, because there's people who just met you and they just want to tell you about their lives, like completely, without even taking the time of meeting the person, and then they get disappointed because the person turned out to be someone who was, like gossiping or all this stuff. But it's because you were irresponsible as well as giving information who you shouldn't to, someone who wasn't reliable, and he was showing you all the time, but you were not observant. So when someone, for example, is you see in friendship that it's really common. You see someone who maybe you have a friend, Karen. That's the name that it's using the memes right now. So you have Karen, you have Katie. Then Karen goes out of the room and she goes to her house. Then Katie starts gossiping about Karen to you, and she starts saying, "Oh, she's so pathetic, she's so lame. I told her not to date this guy because he's a loser, and I think she's a loser as well because of that, and that did this." And then you have to be careful about those things, because at the moment she walk around and she started saying negative things about her, what doesn't tell you that she's not going to do the same about you with her? So be careful when people is doing that, because they are actually telling you a little bit of, the mask, that they're taking a little bit off of their mask, because they're basically showing a little bit of their true self by doing or engaging into that type of behavior. So always be a little bit observant about that, She's talking about those negative things about her, and that's a way of also, projecting herself and saying a little bit of what she is, because we cannot see what is not inside of us. And maybe when we don't like someone, yes, we need to wonder, what is it about me that I need to change? Because maybe what I'm seeing in that person that I don't like is the things that I do not accept in me. But other than that, I know that there's people who is really mean, is really evil, and they're enjoying on, being disrespectful with others. But by that, I mean, always be careful, I know there's people who is very empathic, that's really nice, but sometimes being too nice and giving people second chances all the time, it's not good to you. So if you feel drained all the time by that person, you feel like you have to always please this person, and you see that they tell you one thing today, then they do other thing tomorrow, please be careful, because they are showing you they're not a person you can trust about. So those are the things that I pay attention a lot, and that tells you a little bit of if that person is convenient or not for you just to keep engaging into a relationship with them. So I don't like to make really long videos, so next week I'll be preparing something that's like a second part of how I identify someone who's not good for me. So far I named the one who are the most important for me, that is my gut and the action. If they are very congruent, I think that's the word. And when it comes to, or if there is a match when it comes to their action and when it comes to their words. So guys, I hope this works for you in order for you to identify the people you want to keep engaging. And always remember that quantity is better than quality. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of lost. So quality is better than quantity. And I prefer just to have one friend, but at least that one friend is someone I can actually trust, instead of being surrounded by fake people, because it's not worth it. So well guys, I have nothing else to say. Send you love kisses, take care, and thank you for dedicating a little bit of the time for me.